Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ha'arakakodash, Ma'amath. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my elder as well, Aharwan Banyasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. And salutations to the fellow Akim, our wife and children that believe in truth and in sincerity. It's your brother Athan Yahweh back to another lesson. And Yahweh Ratzazah is edifying. I'm just redoing the beginning part of my lesson, all right? As the beginning part of the lesson, about the first 3 minutes or so, the volume was low, so I couldn't get my the intro of this letter, all right, of this lesson, all right, in the beginning of the article going into Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all right. So I'm pretty much just recording it over again, and I edit it back in. But it's pretty much just going into a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and his comments on Kyrie Irving, all right, and how a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a representation of how Judah is a lion's whelp, all right. You know, Jake has been in this captivity for too long to where they suffered Stockholm syndrome, and they forgot that they were once political, so-called political avengers, and used to stand or used to try to attempt and take a stance for their people. All right, this guy was a part of the Ali Summit, all right, back in the 60s, early 70s, all right, as an athlete. And now he's still being used today to lure athletes back into the graces of Esau Edom, all right, back into Master's house. All right, one of the first scripture I want to get is the book of St. John, chapter 8 and verse 44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him, right? And this ultimately speaking on Cain, all right, which is spiritually the forefather of Esau, Edom, and they're the father of lies, all right? You know, the devil, deceiver, diablos, all right? And you go into that term father, meaning authority, all right? And that's where 2/3 of our people ultimately give their authority to, you know, the God of this world, the father of this world, Esau, Edom, all right, the enemy. All right, even so much so that they aid and abet the enemy when it comes to persecuting our people, keeping our people in check. All right, this guy is more aligned on the Boulè. All right, even when you look at it from the slave times and the slave perspective, all right, the individual on the left, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, would be more so a Sambo, as Kyrie Irving would be an Uncle Tom. All right, trying to seek truth. You know, even though he's not dealing with it correctly, all right, he's trying to seek truth, all right, and he has a soft spot for his people, whereas Sambo, he's just Steven from Django, all right, he's with the whipping stick with Massa, all right. But it reads, Kyrie Irving has been the talk of the nation in the wake of a apparent promotion of the anti-Semitic film leading to a suspension from the Brooklyn Nets. NBA legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has chimed in on the situation, encouraging the former Duke attendee to truly be aware of how he is being presented, right? And that's what they tried to alarm to Duke. You know, you as a Duke attendee, you know, when you go to these they prominent schools, all right, because it all starts and stems from the Coliseum, which is a system within itself, it's a world within itself, right? The sports world, you know, where they get you young. You go to the Catholic schools, you've been indoctrinated some form of way, whether you've been going to these Christian schools or Catholic schools, because that's where they go and recruit from first, because they know 9 times out of 10 the grades are there, all right, because it's smaller classrooms, it's more so one-on-one, even when it comes to the skill that's being at hand, whether it's an arts and craft or sports. Again, we're dealing with the Coliseum, which all stems from the Roman Empire. All right, the arena, all right, to where they had the people being rocked to sleep in the Coliseum, all right, where outside the arena, it was real life and real things and events going on and taking place, right? But they remind him that he's a Duke attendee, you know, because, hey, you go to these prominent schools, you know, you become a court jester. All right, we go get into that a little later into the lesson as well, all right, because it all goes hand in hand to how these celebrities, these athletes, these rappers, you know, the idols of our people, all right, as they make them idols, all right, and dangle them over our face, all right, because they're in Master's house, all right, as a gift destroyeth the heart, you know. And that's why they get the consolation prize on this side. You know, they live lavish lifestyles. You know, as they say, they paid a lot of money to conceal this truth. And that money is goes into these athletes and entertainers, all right, these court gestures, all right. You know, as they label, he's a Duke attendee. And I want to play a short film in regards to...
Sorry, everybody just looked at me as, you know, Paulo. So I was able to, you know, high school, I'd go to the mall, I go eat anywhere, like be anywhere. Like, it was just kind of elevated even more. It took a lot of getting used to, but it helped me just prepare for coming into the NBA.
Did people ever stare at you in class? Like you walk into class and it was just like weird?
Bro, I like, it was almost like they treat you like, and I love Duke by far, but it was like sometimes it feel like you was like a zoo animal or something, bro. Like,
nah, I know how
like,
you feel, bro.
They would like, on God, in class, like you see them over there like whispering about you.
And that was basically a former Duke attendee. Both of them actually went to Duke, all right? The other individual is R.J. Hampton, another young aspiring athlete, just like an aspiring rapper. That's why they say, or they feel like they put a lot of money behind concealing the truth, all right? Not only dealing with education in itself, all right, or dealing with knowledge in itself, right, and information, but the money that they invest in the idol, the setup of our people, all right, pertaining to the athletes, the celebrities, the rappers, all right. They've been paid a high amount of money ultimately so they can have a form of control over them as well, all right. So this is this kid explaining his experience, all right, and he didn't pretty much laugh about it either. He's explained it, you know, in truth and straight up, like, hey, you know, hey, I love it and all, but, you know, it felt like I'm a zoo animal, you know, because that's how they groom you, all right, in that, in the Coliseum world in itself, all right, because that's a world in itself, all right, that the Coliseum, the sports world, all right, to where they pay a lot of money to conceal truth, all right. Our people are sworn to secrecy in these different societies and these different avenues, especially if they're high in these in their career fields or they're prominent in it, all right. All right, you know, they're living lavishly and taking their consolation prize on this side, all right, versus being persecuted with their people. All right, they rather run a rat race and have that crab in the bucket mentality to where they ultimately sell out, you know, and speak against truth, all right, which would benefit their people in the long run, all right. You know, they rather help this devil. But it continues on. When asked about the parallels between Irving, Jackson, and Kanye West, Abdul-Jabbar said, I think the lack of awareness of the harm that they're doing both to the black community and to other communities, right? And again, that term black, right? The LGBTQ, right? The alphabet, the Latinx community, all of these marginalized communities are really in one lump, right? Because they consist under black, being voided, without light, dark, wicked. We won't protect, if we don't try to protect everyone, we won't protect anyone, right? You know, and you're only supposed to be protecting or caring about the righteous, right? This follows Abdul-Jabbar October column for Substack, where he referred to Irving as a comical buffoon, right? So he had an encounter with Irving before. Why? Because he looks at things a different way. He looks and he's seeking truth, or he's trying to find it. All right. But hey, 2/3 of our people, they make a man an offender of the word, man. You know, they're a surely oppression maketh the wise man mad. They're madmen. They've been here too long. All right. To where they suffer Stockholm syndrome. All right. And they're they forgot they're a slave. All right, so Kareem Abdul-Jabbar calls Kyrie Irving a comical buffoon, and that's ultimately what they call us, man. The men, all right, that's dwelling in truth and in sincerity. All right, the men that's dwelling in the resting place, man, in the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and in those names. All right, they think we're out there being a spectacle of men, as the scriptures say. All right, we're fools for Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai's sake. All right, but they're calling him a fool, a comical buffoon, due to his repost of a clip from controversial figure Alex Jones discussing an alleged group of powerful figures attempting to create a NWO. Right, a fourth industrial revolution is what they headed in towards. Man, we all know this. All right, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he gets upset because a younger athlete like Kyrie Irving is doing what he used to do, you know, standing up for his people, or at least trying to, or making an attempt to, even though he's lacking truth. He's lacking the real wisdom and knowledge and understanding to do it correctly, right? Kyrie Irving would be dismissed as a comical buffoon if it weren't for his influence over young people who look up to athletes Abdul-Jabbar expressed, which that's crazy. You know, I'm going to get one scripture, all right, just to get some scriptures, and this Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and 7, all right, because I mentioned it, all right. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, man. This is a madman being in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all right. He's totally forgotten that he's the oppressed, he's the slave. All right. And this is Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart, man. Right. And a gift destroyeth the heart. You know, he probably wants a NBA job, or, you know, get back in the good graces of the NBA because, you know, he was a part of the Ali Summit back in the days. All right. So on and so forth, you know, showing that he is more so aligned with like the Boulè, the left hand side. All right, his father is the god of this world. You know, his authority, going back into his father being the father, is the devil. All right, pertaining to 2/3 of our people, pertaining to John 8 and 44. All right, his authority is the god of this world. All right, the so-called white man, right? Esau, Edom. You know, he making the wise man mad, man. You've been oppressed here too long till now you a madman, you know. You've been made a fool, you know, and ultimately they laugh and mock when they can buck break you, you know, and make you change into a new leaf. You know, he feel victorious, you know, being the enemy. But it continues on. When I look at some of the athletes who have used their status to actually improve society, Colin Kaepernick, right? And that's ultimately what they're going to try to turn around and make use of Kyrie Irving. All right, they're going to take something that like Colin Kaepernick, it started off real rocky and bad, but then they flipped it right. They flipped the script, you know, and that's ultimately what they're going to do with Kyrie Irving. LeBron James, right, they told him to shut up and dribble a long time ago, and he's going to do that. Muhammad Ali, Bill Russell, Billie Jean King, Arthur Ashe, and more. It becomes clear how much Irving has tarnished the reputations of all athletes who strive to be seen as more than dumb jocks. You know, I want to jump from there to get another, I want to bring up the Cleveland Summit to get more understanding on that, because it was 12 athletes, and we go read it. The Cleveland Summit, also known as the Muhammad Ali Summit, right? And we know Muhammad Ali was kind of dibbling and dabbling with Islam, which was not the truth, all right? You know, you saw what happened to Malcolm X and things of that nature, which I believe that has going down around at the same time. All right. Mike Tyson, a lot of profound athletes, even Ice Cube, but Ice Cube has he's turned over to the truth, being we're being the true Jews, the Hebrew Israelites. All right. As he was being scrutinized for anti-Semitic quotes as well around the same time as Nick Cannon, all right, because he knows the truth. He knows that Islam is not the truth, all right. Farrakhan does not resort to Islam, all right, the Middle East Islamic Sunni Muslim type of way, all right. They use the King James Bible more than anything, you know. They use the King James Bible over the Quran, you know. So what's really the truth? Right? But even those, the athletes and the stars, they run up under Islam, all right? Because that's the confusion that Esau has set up ultimately. I believe Edomite owns the Nation of Islam, if I'm not mistaken, all right? But Muhammad Ali was dibbling dabbling with that, sort of how kind of like Kyrie Irving. They're gonna use this guy, you know. They're gonna use them as like agent provocateurs. Again, they use a lot of money to conceal this truth, and that's dealing with these jakes and court gestures and these athletes and actors and celebrities too. All right, they invest a lot of money in these celebrities ultimately for them to conceal the truth, to keep a secret, to be sworn into secrecy. Right? These secret societies. But this is about the Cleveland Summit of how Muhammad Ali, all right, it was called the Muhammad Ali Summit, ultimately, was a meeting on Sunday, June 4th, 1967, among 12 leading so-called African-American, all right, but Israelite men, all right, Hebrew men, all right, the true biblical Jews, all right, pertaining to the Southern Kingdom, all right, 11 of them athletes and one politician. All right, so it was 11 athletes and one politician, 12 men on the east side of Cleveland, Ohio. Football star Jim Brown, right? We know Jim Brown, organized it response to Ali's decision a month earlier not to serve in the Vietnam War, right? They were trying to get Muhammad Ali to go to war. I believe he was even jailed pertaining to this, right? And this is history. This is things that we have to refresh ourselves with and go back and retrack. All right. Or we'll get caught up in the matrix and we'll the Mandela effect take hold of us to where we'll forget some things. Right. But it says the participants expressed support for Ali's decision in a press conference following the summit. So when I goes under preparation, it says, according to one account, the media for the meeting came about when Ali's manager, Jabir Herbert Muhammad, asked Brown whether he would meet with Ali to assess his plans. Brown said, I came up with the concept of having Ali meet with the top black athletes. We had a desire to find out the truth about his protests. Wooten invited the athletes. So they played as if they wanted to know about his protests and they wanted to help him and back him. All right. Kind of like what they do in Kyrie Irving. Venue. The meeting took place in an office at 10501 Euclid Avenue, alternatively described as the Negro Industrial Building or an office of the Negro Industrial Economic Union. You niggas had an EU? An African American empowerment organization founded by Brown. All right, so it was founded by Jim Brown. So it wasn't nothing of too magnificent, right? And later called the Black Economic Union, Slovakia. Its location is now occupied by an office of American Cancer Society, so it ain't no more. And the participants was Muhammad Ali, Bill Russell, Walter Beach, Bobby Mitchell, Jim Brown, Carl Stokes, Willie Davis, Jim Shorter, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right, who we talking about right now, all right, and other people, all right. Initial attitudes and intentions. Let's read this. This is the point. Several participants entered the meeting skeptical of Ali's position against performing military service. Some were suspicious of the Nation of Islam. Most were military veterans. At least 8 of the 11, according to Robert Anthony Bennett III doctoral thesis, which identifies the military service of Beach, Brown, McClinton, Mitchell, Shorter, Stokes, Williams, and Wooten, and also notes that Davis and Russell had undertaken U.S. government goodwill missions, right? So all of them was helping out with the U.S. They were being agents of a sort, right? And even if they wasn't military veterans, right, like the 8 were, all right, the other 2, Davis and Russell had took on government goodwill missions. So they was helping the government. All right. So that's 10. So as far as the politician, he's pretty much exonerated. He does what he does as a politician. And then you got Muhammad Ali being the 12th man. Right. In case of Davis to visit U.S. troops in Vietnam. So Davis and Russell was doing military missions. Right. Some accounts say that the participants' original purpose was to encourage Ali to reach a compromise with the U.S. government A 2012 Plain Dealer article reported that although it wasn't discussed as a group before the meeting, many of the men planned to convince Ali to accept his call to the military. That is how the press reported the summit at the time, as an unuseful attempt to convince Ali to perform his military service under headlines such as athletes fail to talk Ali into the army and athletes fail to sway Clay. So they were trying to get this man to go and fight for a country that don't give a damn about him. You know, just, hey, pull him back into Massa's house, right? You know, they always got the hierarchy of the Boulè, the ones who came before you, the so-called founding fathers to help you lure you niggas back into Massa's house, man. And that's what they're doing to Kyrie Irving, because he's not being guided properly in the spirit of truth. You know, he's not resorting to the source of this thing, which is the men out there on the highways and byways, all right, preaching this truth and sincerity, all right? You know, he's not prepared for the field, you know, so, you know, you're not prepared for the field, you know, after being a house nigga for so long, you quickly go sell out and run right back into that house, man. You know, that's why the scripture referred to in Ecclesiastes 7:7 how the gift destroyeth the heart, man. It's destroyed the heart of our people, all right? It has made them docile. It's made them, their conscience has been sealed with a hot iron, man. They don't know, they forgot that they're in slavery. They actually think that this is their rest. And as you read this article, they was trying to persuade Ali to actually go to war, all right? But I'm going to read a little bit more because it says this. Because it continued on. They reporting this in 2017, man. You wonder why this man ended up dying, man, having Parkinson's and shit, you know? Ali's biographer, Jonathan Egg, reported in 2017, as Branson Wright did in The Plain Dealer in 2012, that boxing promoter Bob Arum had negotiated a deal with the government that drafted evasion charges against Ali would be dropped if Ali agreed to perform a series of boxing exhibitions for U.S. troops. And that's why he did those. I think he fought that dude, and I think he fought. Let me don't mention that. He fought a dude. He was training somewhere. It was off, like it looked like in a military compound. Where he fought some guy, but it all makes sense when you look at what came out and about all after the fact, years after the fact. This happened around the 60s and the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, and now it's coming out in the 2010s, 12s and all that, of how Bob Arum, a boxing promoter, all right, a known boxing promoter, all right, they patched up a deal and paid off the government to so this guy can flee draft evasion. Right, he can evade being drafted. If Ali agreed to perform a series of boxing expositions for U.S. troops, right, being a court gesture, you know, come be a court gesture for us and show us, you know, how to war with your hands, so to speak. Brown and two Nation of Islam leaders reported had a financial stake in the planned arraignment, and other black athletes, presumably those in the summit, will also be financially rewarded if they convince Ali to accept it, man. And see how everybody get a piece of the pie, even those in the Nation of Islam. That's how they're compromised. That shit is set up by the fake Jews, all right? Just pictures of Farrakhan with fake Jews, all right? You know, so they tried to convince him, man. You know, they try to, like they doing Kyrie Irving, to shut up and dribble, and LeBron, all right? You know, before you end up like Kobe, right? That's the leverage this devil plays with him, all right? What was life like for a court gesture? You know? And that's ultimately why, and before I get to this article, I want to get the book of Genesis, chapter 49 and 9. Because that's ultimately why old guys like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar talking crazy now. All right, they double-minded. They talking contrary to what they used to stand upon back in their youth days, in their youth times. All right, they gotten weak. All right, and this is the book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. My son, thou art going up. He stooped down. He crouched as a lion. And as an old lion, who shall rouse him up, man? And that's the rhetorical question, man, because the Lord is going to have to rouse Jacob, because Judah is a lion's whelp, man. He's laying down getting ready to die, all right, like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all right? He's an old individual, all right, who used to stand for his people. He saw the hypocrisy of this damn devil, all right, the persecution of his people. He saw it firsthand. He lived through it. All right, to not speak against it until death is shows that you have been compromised. All right, a gift have destroyed the heart. All right, you suffer Stockholm syndrome, right? Judah is a lion's whelp. He's laying down ready to die. And he's wounded. You think of a lion, a powerful animal that hunts, that can fend for himself. It can protect, right? Hey, when it's injured, all right, and it gets old and it's injured and it can't recoups, all right, it's go up under that tree and just lay down, man, because it's gonna die, all right. This is a quick article. It says, what was life like for a court jester? From battlefield comedians to unfortunate messengers, jesters played varied roles in courts through the Middle Ages and to the period. Writing his story extra, Arthur explores what life was like for these men and women. All right. When we image a medieval or Tudor feast, we might picture a jester, the wise fool, right? Running among the guests, juggling or telling bawdy jokes while minstrels strum their lutes. But in the 11th and 12th centuries, the title minstrel, meaning little servant, was the name given to a wide range of entertainers, right? So you're just a minstrel. You athletes and entertainers are just minstrels, all right? To Esau's cycle, all right? You're a little servant. Was the name given to a wide range of entertainers, including singers, musicians, jugglers, tumblers, magicians, as well as joculators or jesters. Both men and women were employed as minstrels, and there is a record of a joculatrix called Andling Owning Land. And right, and they got what they got today. They have a Mount. You can get your the statue of the heads, man, on what that's Mount Everest. All right, well, you have the legends of certain like the top people in different worlds, right? Fashion world, the sports world, right? And they keep records, They keep records, LeBron James is supposed to be supposing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar soon and most points. Things like that. They keep record books of who was the best court jester, who was well in this. In the 12th century, because they make money and profit off of your buffoonery, your foolery. They can bet on you, right? I can bring my Negro slave over versus your Negro slave. Let's see who win to death, right? That's where they had what the Mandinka fighting and all that stuff come from. In the 12th century, the title of Follis or fool began to be mentioned in documents, often when these jesters had been rewarded with land as payment for loyal service. A fool named Roland Lee Pritter was given 30 acres of land by King Henry II, probably when he retired, on condition that Roland returned to the royal court every year on Christmas Day to leap, whistle, and fart. And you can't make that up, bro. This shit is crazy, man. And that's ultimately what these athletes, these rappers, that's the lifestyle that they live. Little do they know, man. It's fiat, fake money and currency, right? They get the toys, the delicacy, and the little dainties of the world today. The constellation prizes, man, the nice cars, the nice houses and stuff. You get 30 acres of land by King Henry II. That was after he retired, though, on condition that he returned every year on the folly day, right, to leap, whistle, and fart. Man, you can't make it up, man. This is crazy, you know? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 29. And verse 21. I thought verse 20. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off, man, right? And we waiting on that day, right, to the wicked to be cut off and consumed, right? Both the heathen and 2/3 of our people as they scoff and scorn against his word. And you know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar goes scoff and scorn against his word. He one of those old Negro coons, man. Sing us one of those Negro spirituals. We go get that too, you know, in the book of Psalms, you know, because he you know, you get that from your own people, man, especially older Jake. You know, they don't want to hear nothing pertaining to the truth, right? And they scoff and scorn ultimately. You know, he scoff and scorn just ultimately off of him being he was itchy off of Kyrie Irving reposting what Alex Jones posted pertaining to the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the NWO, right? The global reset. You know, by him being aware of it and him making known being aware of it and Kyrie exploiting that made him mad. And it's Isaiah 29 and 21. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught, man, right? Turn aside the just for a thing of naught, man. All because him that reproveth in the gate, they go try to catch him up and lay traps for him because they don't want to hear the truth, you know, especially out of one of their own mouth, one of their own being the one who took the oath, the one who sworn to secrecy, the one who got the bag, he's in bed with Esau Edom. All right. They don't expect you to look at the luxuries that's around you and still stand for your people, you know. And this is a good chapter in Isaiah 29. And it's Isaiah 29 and 1. Woe to Ariel, that the city where David dwelt, right? Where David dwelt, you know. And David was a man after the Lord's own heart, you know. And when Yahweh established the kingdom of his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, all right, David is gonna rule, man. All right. And under him is going to be 144,000 men, 12,000 from each tribe. All right. If you're not from one of those tribes of the nation of Israel, all right, if you're not of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, Seminole Indian descent, and those of the speckled bird who may be Irish, who may be Italian, mainly the Scottish, mainly the Sicilian, right? You know, and hey, those who may look like the other nations, Filipinos, right? You know, you have some of our people look like the so-called Chinese men, right? And Japanese men, you know, but if they bear the same spirit as such, they're of the 12 tribes, man. All right. 12 nations that consist of one big nation. All right. You know, and through them is the kingdom. All right. That's going to be established. All right. The so-called minority on this side. All right. Through them, the kingdom is going to be established, man, through 12 tribes, man, and 12,000 men through each of those 12 is going to establish the 144,000 men, that new government that's going to be upon the face of the earth, all right, under King David. All right, so King David is going to rule again. This is woe to Ariel, and it's Isaiah 29 and 1. Woe to Ariel, and Ariel is a poetic way of saying Lion of God, all right, a poetic way of saying Lion of God. All right, a poetic name for Jerusalem. The city where David dwelt, add ye year to year, let them kill sacrifices, man. And that's what they're doing. You know, they just adding on year to year. All right, just killing sacrifices. All right. Yet I will distress Ariel, and there shall be heaviness and sorrow, and it shall be unto me as Ariel, right? It's going to be as a lion of power, you know, once again, all right? Once our people resort back to the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, all right? The elect, that is, all right? Because only the elect is going to resort back in these times, all right? 2/3 of our people is going to still suffer Stockholm Syndrome, all right? Their mind is going to still dwell in this place, dwell upon other gods of other religions and deities, all right? Or they just don't want to hear the word, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and they just want to hide themselves under a rock. You know, they make a man offended of the word being the point. That's what I wanted to get there. But I'll jump to verse 9. Stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and wonder. Salaki, I started verse 7. And the multitude of all the nations that fight against Ariel, even all that fight against her in her munition, and that distress her, shall be as a dream of a night vision. Right? They're going to be as a dream of a night vision. All right. These other heathen nations and even 2/3 of our people who come against the truth. All right. You're going to have to be done away with on this side and brought back into the kingdom through the loins of the elect. All right. Through the right minded of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, because you're too sick. All right. The scriptures speak on how the whole head is sick. All right. You people are sick and you rather dwell in captivity. All right. Under this damn devil. But I'm going to just get some more scriptures and wrap it up. And this is Psalms 137:3. For they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth. Right. You know, you had the one that carried us away captive, being the heathen. All right. Took us upon slave ships and brought us over here. All right. We're stolen property, man. And according to Exodus, I think 20, according to Exodus chapter 20 and verse 21. All right. Though thou stealeth a man, if that man be found in thy hand, you surely shall be put to death, man. Roughly paraphrasing. All right. I believe that's Exodus 21:16. All right. Salakia, thou, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death, man. You know. You know, and that's Exodus 21:16. All right, Salakia. But back in Psalms 137:3, you know, you had the one that carried us away captive. All right, the heathen. All right, you know, mainly the so-called Caucasian race, as Amalek funded the slave trade. Right, the fake Jews. When we refer to Amalek, we refer to a tribe of Esau, of Edom. All right, one of his tribes being Amalek. All right, the fake Jews, the Khazars, those who are dwelling in Ashdod. All right. They carried us away. All right. They required of us a song, you know, sing us one of those Negro spirituals. And they that wasted us required of us mirth. You know, 2/3 of our own people will require of us mirth. You know, they'll drag you or want to lure you back into Massa's house. You know, so a Massa set you up and kill you. They go help aid and abet that. You know, hey, come on and have some dinner, man. Thinking you go come into Massa's house, man. You finna be on the table in Massa's house. You know, and Jake, your own people go require of you mirth. He go want you to sell out to this damn devil. You know, juck and jive for this damn devil. All right. Because he had to. All right. This is Jeremiah chapter 14 and verse 2. Judah mourneth in the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground. Right. That term black again. Dark and impoverished. All right. They have a low estate right now, man. A low vibration. And the cry of Jerusalem is going up, man. The cry of Jerusalem is going up, man. You know, the cry for wine is in the streets. All right. But only the true men of the Lord got it. And, you know, and they have to resort to the source. You know, they have to come off their pedestal and come to those men that's preaching the truth and the sincerity, the so-called broke men on the highways and byways. All right. But hey, are they going to do that? You know, the wicked scribes and Pharisees had to give up their authoritative seat. You know, they sat in Moses' seat, the scriptures say. You know, they had to give that up when Yahushua came to the scene. They didn't want to do that. All right. They don't want to sell all that they have. This is Isaiah 9:6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty Power, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. I don't know what I got this for. I need Isaiah 9:16, Salakia. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that led of them are destroyed, man. Right. Those who follow Kyrie, Irving, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, those who are not 100% dealing with the 100% truth, all right, you're going to be destroyed, all right, because the leader of these people caused them to err. You know, Kyrie Irving falling into subjection because he's being ridiculed by the so-called quote-unquote founding fathers of the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the people who paved the way for him. All right, when he speak against you, you know, people like Kyrie Irving to think that they're doing wrong. But no, you got to stand upon what you believe. All right, you got to fight. All right. It's the book of Maccabees. It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3 and verse 20. They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us and our wives and children and to spoil us. But we fight for our lives and our laws. Wherefore the Lord himself will overthrow them before our face. And as for you, be not afraid of them, man. The hell wrong with these people. You know, you trimming your ways to seek love, and the scriptures say not to do that. All right. Why trimmeth your ways to seek love? You know, you should be itching and more running towards truth, not tucking your tail because people are ultimately going to speak out against you. You know, that's what you want, you know. So the leaders of these people caused them to err, being the point. You know, one point I wanted to make before ending this video is just to bring out Revelations chapter 2 and verse 9 or 3 and 9, because if anybody read that, all right, if anybody read that scripture in the Bible, they'll know that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, they would be calling him anti-Semitic, right? Revelations, pertaining to Revelations 2 and 9, 3 and 9, right? Zechariah 13 and 8, how 2/3 of our people go be destroyed. That's anti-Semitic. You know, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is anti-Semitic too. All right, pertaining to the wickedness of his people, he's gonna destroy them. All right, but we're Shemitic, man. We can't be anti what we are, right? We're Shemitic people. All right, we're from Shem as well. All right, but the bad of Shem has to go. In this Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan, man. Yahweh Shai. It referring to not all Israel is of Israel, you know, but we use this scripture referring to the fake Jews, the Khazars, all right, and how they worship in the synagogue of Satan, all right. And again, fear not, you know, the Lord's finna overthrow them and their lies, all right, because truth is gonna trump lies all day, you know, all day long, you know. History repeats itself, man, which means truth is go yet back be established, man, you know, forever. But Yahweh Ratazah, this lesson was edifying, you know. Shalom Mahabadan DTA.